Welcome back to my ADU page. Today, I am going to talk about SB 9. I understand a lot of you homeowners are not familiar with ADUs and SB 9. SB 9 is a new law that kicked in back in 2022. Basically, what it does is allows you to two things: to build 2 units within your existing single-family residence. If you have enough space, you can subdivide your existing single lot and build 2 units in each one of the lots. There's certain regulations, so let's jump into different configurations. I want you to understand what it looks like. There's different configurations, so I selected the LA City Planning website so I can explain to you. I understand this one comes from the state level. Just by showing you here, this website provides a lot more information and it's more self-explanatory. So let's jump into it. Senate Bill SB 9, the Housing Opportunity and More Efficiency in Home Act. It's a California law that aims to increase housing supply across the state of California through streamlined measures that expands infill development opportunities, including making it easier to apply for a split or 2-unit development on a single family residence. So you heard that right. So you can apply to split your existing lot or do a 2-unit development on your single family residence. Now, there's 2 key components to SB 9. Number 1 is that you can do a 2-unit development. The 2-unit development permits and streamlines the process for development for 2 primary dwelling units on a single family. 2 primary single family dwelling units. That's a 2-unit development. The urban lot split, basically, it permits and streamlines the process for subdividing an existing single-family lot, zone single-family lot, right? You can divide it into two individual parcels independent from each other as long as you meet the building requirements like the minimum lot sizes. So we're going to jump into that as well. So let me show you a couple scenarios. Development scenarios. This is one. Remember, there's 2. SB 9 allows you to do a 2-unit development, and it also allows you to do a urban split lot. So urban lot split, single family residence. So you can split it into 2 and have one single family here, another single family here. And then on top of that, you can add more to it. So we're going to jump into that. That's a combination of 2. Another scenario, split the lot. They call it the flag shape. Why? Because, okay, this is the main lot. So you divide this. So you have one lot here. Let's say if this is a street, you have a neighbor here, you have a neighbor here, and you have a neighbor in the back. So you have to create a driveway to the back of the property. It's a flag shape. This is kind of like the pole of the flag. That's why they call it the flag shape. Urban split, number 1, it's a rectangular parcel, 2 single family dwellings. And then on the other hand, you have the flag shape where you have the 2-unit development. Lot split with a flag configuration, single family plus. On one, you can do a junior ADU. You have the option to do a junior ADU. On the other one, you can do an ADU, or you can just do 2 units. So that's one configuration. Now let's jump into the 2-unit development. So SB 9, urban lot split, you can split it. Number 2, 2-unit development without having to split it. And these are the configurations that you can have. So 2-unit development on a single family residence. So that's one. And this one, this option, it'll give you a 2 single family residence plus 1 ADU, 3 units. This configuration gives you a duplex. You have a duplex, you can add another ADU, 3 units. This configuration gives you 2 single family residences, that's one, plus 1 junior ADU. That's a triplex. This configuration gives you a duplex plus 2 detached ADUs. That's 4 units. Isn't that amazing? A lot of people don't know this. And the ones that they know, they're taking advantage, and there are very few of them. If you're watching this video, go ahead and send me a message. Let's chat about this, because this is one way where you can start building wealth. It's a great investment. And so if you're going to do this type of investment, you don't want to sell your home, but you like the area where you live, this is the great way of doing that. Stay in the area that you like and then just expand your wealth, expand your investment, and think about long term. Meantime, it's going to give you cash flow. If you've been sitting on a lot of equity, now it's a great time to cash out and do something like this, or get another loan and just build something like this. As long as you do the numbers, hire someone that's going to give you everything, the whole picture. Because you have to understand everything. How much is construction going to cost me? How much am I going to be able to rent it out? How much my loan is going to be? What's an estimated amount for permits? So you got to combine all this and do your due diligence. And that's when a design build contractor with the knowledge, the expertise comes in, and they put everything together. They laid everything on the table and make sure that it makes sense. Okay, this is how much my loan is going to be. This is how much my cash flow is going to be. Obviously, you got to be cash flowing positive, because besides being a long-term investment, at the same time, you want to be able to cash flow. Make sure that you're doing things right. Now, let's jump into the next configuration. Urban lot split and 2-unit development. This is a combination of these 2 scenarios, the 2 key components, the 2 development units and the lot split. So you have a duplex on each lot, so that you got 4 units. So the maximum allowable units is 4 if you divide it. If it's only 1, 3 units, even 4, actually, as you can see on this last configuration here. If you have a duplex, you can do 2 ADUs, 1 ADU per unit. So 1, 2, that's a property line. You split it. You have the street here. I don't know where the entrance is, but that's how they show it here. 2 duplex, or again, you can have a duplex. You can have 2 single family residences, duplex and 2 SFSD, 2 single family dwellings. So that's the advantage of using SB 9. Let's jump into some other requirements let's make sure that we understand a little bit about what's required. So let's go into the eligibility requirements. So now, for someone to do an SB9, these are some of the requirements. Number one, the property must be a single family residence and it has to fall within these zones: RA, RE, RS, R1, RZ, RW, right? The other one is it cannot be historical. If your property is within a historical area, it is not going to qualify. The other thing is it cannot be located within boundaries of wetland. Wetlands, hazard zones, floods, and that's why it's very important to do your due diligences. When you start doing this, hire someone that's knowledgeable. They know where to go and look for this information. Let's say City of LA, you go to zimas.org, you find out, you enter the address and it'll give you like the whole property profile. You can see anything about your property on there. So additional limitations. If the subject property is located in a very high fire hazard, severity zone, earthquake fault, or special flood hazard, the property might be permitted if it meets the criteria established in the government code. So pretty much, you got to go through the process. You got to submit some preliminary plans and make sure that, it meets all the requirements. If the subject property is located on the coast, development permit, CPD, is also required. The CDP is not approved. Short-term and vacation rentals, it's prohibited. So you cannot use it as a short-term rental. So I'm going to touch a little bit on that. You got to live in the property for a specific period of time. And you cannot just go around and buy properties and do SB9s. It's got to be one per person. And you got to live in the property for a period of time before you even sell it. Because one of the reasons why the state of California is allowing is because they want you to contribute to the home crisis. That's one of the reasons why they won't allow you to do an Airbnb, because Airbnb is a short-term rental, so you're not contributing to the home crisis. SB9 projects may not alter or demolish affordable housing, tenant-occupied housing, units being subject to RSO included on the property. So if it's affordable housing, if it's Section 8, you won't be able to do it. If you have people living in it, you got to go through a certain process. You won't be able to do it actually if it's tenant occupied. So additional requirements for urban lot split. No previous urban lot split on the properties. If you have a huge lot and you split it once and then you have space to split it one more time, it won't be allowed. No adjacent parcels split by the same property owner. If you buy one, you split it, the time frame that they allow you to keep it and sell it, and then you want to split another one down the street, they won't allow you to do that. Owner applying must be resident at one of the units of the urban lot split, newly created lots for at least 3 years from the date of the map approval. So you got to live in the property, in one of the properties for at least 3 years. Additional requirements for 2-unit development only. Cannot alter or demolish more than 25% of the exterior walls of existing units that has been occupied by a tenant in the last 3 years. If there's a tenant, you cannot demolish more than 25% of the walls. Cannot alter or demolish a unit where an Ellis Act withdrawal has taken place in the last 15 years. So I got to get back to you on this one, on the Ellis Act. If you are getting value from this video, go ahead and like it, turn on your notifications so whenever we put another video up, you'll be notified. I'm going to be putting a bunch of content out on this channel so that way you can learn more about ADUs and SB9. Let me know what's next video that you would like to see. Anything related to construction management, project management, ADUs, SB9. So SB9 because it contributes to the home crisis here in California. Under SB9, no demolition alteration is permitted in the following type of units that are subject to recording to covenants, ordinance, or law that restrict rent levels of affordable to persons and families of moderate, low, very low income. So basically what it's telling you is that if you have low income families there renting, you cannot just come in and tell them, look, you got to get the hell out, because I'm going to convert this into an SB9, I'm going to remodel it. That's not the way it works. So in other words, these renters are still being protected, so you cannot be doing that kind of stuff. So renters are being protected pretty much. So units that are subject to residential stabilization ordinance, so that's another one. That's pretty much rent control. Units that have been occupied by a renter for at least 3 years, you cannot be doing that. Units that have been withdrawn from the rental market in the past 15 years pursuant to Ellis Act, commencing Section 7060 of the Government Code. If SB9 project results in a reduction in services of existing tenants, such that removable storage space or green space, the existing tenant may be entitled to a reduction in rent. So again, tenants are being protected. As always here in the city of LA or in California in general, city of LA for the most part, it's a height. They're protecting renters. So procedures, let's take a look at this. So this is pretty much the process of what it takes to go through SB9. You got to go to the zoning department and do your due diligence. And then the other thing is to make sure that, you go to the planning department and bring it up and ask some questions, as many questions as possible. But I highly recommend that you hire someone that's a designer, that they know how to find that information. So yeah, that's that. Resources. Bam, bam, bam. You can find a bunch of resources here. Again, SB9, it's state level. A lot of the information, it's located here. If you're doing it in the city of LA, great. I mean, you can find a bunch of information. You can find this SB9 fact sheets. You can find anything you want, just about anything you want pertaining to SB9. Again, if you're finding value, go ahead and like this video, comment, and share. Thumbs up. I'm going to provide a lot more value in reference to SB9, ADUs, construction, how to find contractors, and things like that. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.